We continue right here with the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call on the Borders and Borders hotline. It's 412-575-2600. A lot of people want to talk, so we'll let them do that. We'll get into some more of these topics as we go. But we'll begin with Derek in Pittsburgh. Derek, you're first. How you doing?
Hi, Bob. How you doing?
Okay.
Hey, from last night, they had won that call. He had the ball tucked. He didn't drop it. The referee blew it. That call was not fair. He cleared.
Yeah, Derek, a lot of people agree. I've seen a lot of national columnists as well as people on TV rip it. The rule, I think we all agree, the rule is a bad rule, and they've had this for many years, and they allow it to continue. I would try, and Mike Tomlin is on the competition committee. I'll be interested tomorrow to hear his take on his thought about that and whether it's time to revisit that altogether. Dave,
he's on the competition committee. He's got a voice.
He does.
Try to change it.
Dave, how are you?
Hello there.
How are you, David?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
We're good.
Hey, listen, all day today I keep hearing how wonderful Gronk is.
He is.
Here's my question. Last year he didn't even play the last 6-8 games.
Right.
And they won the championship.
But they had Julian Edelman, too, and they had a healthy core of receivers, including Chris Hogan, who did not play yesterday as well. So they had guys who can run the middle of the field even though he wasn't there, although he is the best at what he does. And when he's healthy,
I told you just off the air, I'm not sure he's not the best player in the NFL right now. To me, he's unguardable. He's so big, so fast. He's a mismatch for everybody. He's got great hands. You see a couple of those catches he made yesterday, and I love the way Tom Brady described him. He said they're not 50-50 balls to him. They're 95-5 balls. He's going to catch them 95% of the time. An incredible player. What an athlete.
So James Schmack on Twitter says, quit your whining, Bob. It's not whining, James. I think
Bob, you have been known to whine a little.
I'm not whining. What I'm saying is this rule stinks, and I still believe it was a football play. And I'm sorry, you can disagree. That's not whining. That's talking about opinions, and that's what this show is all about. To me, Jesse James, you talk to anyone who plays football, they will tell you he made the catch. Therefore, when he makes a football play and lunges to the plane of the goal line, he is extending, which means that ground is irrelevant in my view. And I think I've heard a number of people who say the same thing. Look on Twitter, Brent Musburger, Stephen A. Smith, all of them. And that's not to say they're right or wrong. It's their opinion as it is mine.
Sounds like a little bit of whine to me.
Yeah, give me some cheese with
You're a little bit of whining, Bob. You're a whiner.
Marie is our winner from Punxsutawney. You're going to go see Rocky Blyer in the play, Marie. Congratulations. And when you're done, please hang on the line. Yes, hang on the line. We're going to get your information, okay? But what's on your mind?
Oh, I wanted to talk about the same thing that you guys have been talking about. That catch crossed that line, and it was absolutely a touchdown. And the man was about to hit ground hard, as possible if he didn't, catch himself as he was going to the ground, that he possibly could have, for instance, maybe broke a bone or injured himself.
Wow, that really, Marie, has nothing to do with it. I think if you listen to Jim Nantz and Tony Romo, too, during the broadcast, they said repeatedly for the first minute of the review, this is fine. It's going to be a touchdown. It's confirmed. He broke the play. Neither of them had any idea they were looking at that ball movement. The longer it went.
Some producer whispered in their ear.
Yeah, but I think you're not inclined because we knew it was a catch. That's my point.
Well, absolutely, it was a catch.
It was a catch. So
yes, I think on my half, I think you'd have to be blind not to see that.
Okay, Marie, hang on the line, okay? Our producer, Jared, up there is going to get contact information for you. All right? So in the meantime, anyway, we can talk about that all over. I just think, we have video tonight. We showed you Brandon Cooks in the game against Houston. It was a clear cut, didn't complete the play. He didn't survive the ground, yet they called it a touchdown. They reviewed it. They kept it a touchdown. Look at the video. You'll come to the same conclusion I had. The rule stinks, and it's not implemented consistely. So,
Bob, I felt good about how they played yesterday. I thought they outplayed them.
I did, too.
Third downs were really good. The time of possession was really good. I thought Ben matched Brady except for that last play. I feel good about them if they have to go to New England. It's going to be a lot harder if they get that far, but they got to win one of these next two now to assure that they get that first round bye, even if they're the number 2 seed, because if they lose one of the next two, and heaven help them if they lose to Houston, which has quit on Bill O'Brien, or Cleveland, which is now 0-14, but if they lose one and Jacksonville wins both, Jacksonville's in as the #2 seed, and the Steelers would have to play that first weekend.
Yeah.
The last thing they
I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Steelers will win both, and I also think New England has it set up so they don't have to travel again at all until they make a trip to Minneapolis if it's a Super Bowl. They are at home for the final 2 games, and to me there's no chance that Buffalo beats them. None. They're 11.5-point favorites, and they should be. The Jets are the Jets.
Now, Jacksonville could lose. They're at San Francisco, and then they're at Tennessee. They could lose one of those 2. And
but I'm just talking about New England sacrificing #1. They're not. They're going to win those 2. They're going to get the #1. So they won't have to travel again.
Steelers need to hold on to #2 is what they need to do.
Yep, they do. All right, let's go out to Bill in Castle Shannon. Hey, Bill, how you doing?
Oh, good, Bob. How you doing?
Okay, thank you.
Hey, the reason why they didn't call that a touchdown yesterday is because Roger Goodell and Belichick are very good close friends. They go fishing together. They go golfing together.
If that happens, if there's proof of that, go ahead and show me. But I can't.
Yeah,
the
conspiracy theory. That's why Roger Goodell suspended Tom Brady last year. Made the whole league look bad over nothing. I don't think he's close to Kraft anymore. I don't buy that conspiracy stuff.
No, I did like how the Steelers used man-to-man, and I hope that they continue to employ that if they play them again. I know it's a little bit more difficult up there, and crowd noise becomes an issue.
Somebody's got to guard 87, Bob.
Well, what would you do then?
I don't know. I don't know if Shazier would have made a difference. Maybe. I thought Sean Davis did about as good a job as you can, and he had 9 catches for 168 yards. He was right with them.
But he's 6'7", 265.
And runs like the wind and with great hands.
There's nobody in the league like him, which is why I thought they may dabble with T.J. Watt, who's 6'5" or 6. He can run.
I didn't see the final snap count. I don't sense he played as much yesterday.
I didn't see it either. But the point is, they got to figure out something else. If you double, when they still have guys who can hurt you. Yeah, it is.
Kills him every game.
But he kills everybody when he's in there and healthy, and that's been a thing with him. We're due for a break. It's 412-575-2600. Before we go, though, happy birthday to 95-year-old Ruth Cook. If the name sounds familiar, it's because it's the lovely mother of Ron Cook. And so 95, and she still puts up with you, Ron. That's amazing.
Happy birthday, Ruth. I love you.
Happy birthday, Ruth,
and
thank you for watching. Yeah, absolutely. Ruth Cook, 95. We'll be back to take more of your calls as we continue live right here on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, Pittsburgh CW.